Number 4. Here again I have fractions, so I'm going to start with my largest denominator, and I'm going to ask myself, are the other two fractions factors of 7? No, they're not. So I'm going to check my multiples of 7 because I'm trying to find the least common denominator for all 3 fractions. So 7 times 2 is 14. 2 is a factor of 14, but 4 is not. 7 times 3 is 21. Neither of these are factors of 21. 7 times 4 is 28. Both of these are factors of 28. So I'm going to multiply every single term by 28 so that I can not have my fractions there. And I have to multiply this 1 clear down at the end by 28 as well. So now I can cross cancel. 7 divided by 7, 28 divided by 7, 2 divided by 2, 28 divided by 2, 4 divided by 4, 28 divided by 4, and 28 times 1. So now that my denominators are all 1, I can just go ahead and do the multiplication across. 4 times 2x is 8x. Let's see, this is plus a minus. So negative 14 times 1x is negative 14x is equal to 7 times 3x is going to be 21x. And plus 1 times 28 is going to be 28. So now I can see that I just have x's on this side, so I can combine those like terms, and that's going to give me a negative 6x, because negative 14 plus positive 8 is negative 6, and the x comes along for the ride. And on the other side I have 21x plus 28. Now, it would be nice if my numbers were all on one side and my x's were all on the other side. And here you can see I have just x's on this side, and I have x's and numbers on this side. So I probably want to get all of my numbers on one side and all of my x's on the other. And I have a couple of options here. But because I have my number right here, I think I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to get rid of my 21x's by subtracting 21x from each side. So this is a positive 21x, this is a negative 21x. Together they equal 0. So now I'm just left with 28 on this side because 0 plus 28 is 28. On this side, when I subtract 21x, that's plus a negative 21x. So I'm going to be combining these negative x's here, and I'm going to get negative 27x. So now I've got x's on this side, numbers on the other. Excellent, but I don't want that coefficient there, so I'm going to divide by negative 27 on both sides, and that gives me my value of x is equal to 28 over negative 27. I want to talk to you about something with fractions. When you have a situation like this where one of either the denominator or the numerator has a negative sign by it. We're just going to go over here for a minute, and we're going to look at negative 3 over positive 4, and we're going to look at positive 3 over negative 4. And you should know that 3/4 is the same as 75/100 by now. If you have 3/4 of a dollar, you have 75 cents. You have 3/4. But we're going to do this on a calculator, and I'm going to key in -3 divided by +4 and see what I get. And then I'm going to do +3 divided by -4 and see what I get. So -3 divided by +4. There's my -3 divided by +4 is equal to, and you can see my calculator puts the negative sign right in the middle, but I'm going to show you what it's equal to in decimal format. It's equal to a -0 and 75/100ths. Now I'm going to do the same thing with 3 divided by -4. 3 divided by -4 is equal to -3/4, which is equal to -0 and 75/100ths. So you can see that regardless of whether the negative sign is with the numerator or the negative sign is with the denominator, the answer is still going to be negative. So when we end up with a number like this in math, it is most conventional that the answer be represented as putting that negative sign like right in between the two. You'll see that more often than you'll see this, or putting it with the numerator. It's just more conventional that way. In other words, you're going to see it more this way than you are that way. Either way, you're going to get a negative answer when you divide because the other number is positive. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So whether you represent it this way with it smack dab in the middle, or whether you raise it up a little bit and put it by your numerator, these are the two most acceptable ways, conventional ways that you're going to be seeing it as you move forward in math. This is not incorrect, it's just not the way you're going to see it most often. So you should start writing your math problems the way you're going to see them most often. Number 5. 7/8 x minus 1/4 plus 1/2 x is equal to 3/4 plus x. A little longer problem, a little more going on. I'm going to change this right away to plus and negative. You'll notice that we have, it's a longer problem, but the denominators are all friendly. In other words, 8 is going to be my least common denominator because 4 and 2 are factors of 8. So I'm going to multiply everything by 8. And remember, you have to multiply the x by 8. These are going to cancel. And so now I'm just going to go through and do the multiplication straight across. 1 times 7x is going to give me 7x plus 2 times -1 is -2 plus 4 times 1x is going to be 4x equals 2 times 3 is 6 plus 8x. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. You can see I have variables over here with a constant, and over here I have a constant and I have variables. And again, I'm just going to switch these 8x plus 6 And over here I'm going to add these together. 7x plus 4x is 11x, plus a negative 2 is equal to 8x plus 6. So I can see that I have more x's on this side than I do on this side. So I think I want my x's over here and my constants over there. So I'm going to move this 2 so that it's not on this side, and I only have constants on that side. So I'm going to add a positive 2, because a positive 2 and a negative 2 makes 0. So I'm going to add 2 over here, and that's going to give me 11x on this side is equal to 8x plus 8. And now that I have my constants on this side, I'm going to, this is like pulling down 8x's on this side, and so I'm going to pull down 8x's on this side. So there's my 8x's. You could think of this as adding negative 8x or just subtracting 8x, whichever way you like to think about it. So this is going to leave me with 3 x's on this side. This is going to sum to 0, and I'm going to have 8. So now that I have just x's on this side and 8 on that side, I can divide both sides by 3, and I get that x is equal to 8/3, or x is equal to 2 and 2/3.